Yeah, it's a metronome. It is a metronome, and it is for us. Just getting the tuning rolling this morning. Here's your A440. And the A440 is something that we... Good morning, Kevin. Good morning. We're back in the saddle again. And touched down. Finally made it back to the old home place. Yes, we are back home now. It was a pretty solid day of travel yesterday. I think we might have one more of those days this week. I'm not sure yet. But a tremendous, what a tremendous room we found yesterday. So I'm headed back with some audio equipment to do some recording. Nice little find. But if you have a nicely acoustically treated studio, then that works really well too. You can get the room reflections down to near zero, and then you can add your own sort of reflections and your room sounds into the recordings. But there's nothing really like playing in a cool sounding room without headphones on, and you get that really nice quality feedback in a live room. In some recording studios, live rooms are so important, right? Yeah. There are all these different sort of microphone techniques, miking techniques for miking instruments, and techniques to sort of like get the studio out of the way so that performance might be fully and transparently documented. You know, that can be a real challenge, from what I understand. That blues thing is the Pentatonic sheet. The Pentatonic Palace is. I think I got a text from you. I'll go ahead and get that over to you just as soon as in two shakes of the lamb's tail, right? While it's just the two of us, seemingly just the two of us, how is your practice going? We have some really fun things to talk about today. We're about ready, no hurry, but thanks, perfect. We're about ready to start working on adding some symmetrical patterns into our warm-up cycles, into our warm-up sequences. I see some of us are starting to arrive. You've been tuning on your own, and that's cool. That's really cool. So we're here now, and we're going to just get, I think we're pretty much in tune. Pretty close. Yeah. Almost there, getting kind of like warmed up now this morning. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. Here we go, and in good morning. Good morning, Robbie. I see that there was something that I missed here. So as we start moving through this morning's ritual for guitar growth, we'll notice that the live chat is switched on. So if you do have comments, Notorious, Last of Us, oh, what a great show. What a great show. I actually don't remember hearing the theme of that show, but I do like to watch title sequences before, at least once or twice. And then some of them, if they have content, I really examine those. But so what we like to do here is what you found, what you've stumbled your way into this morning, what you've sort of doom scrolled your way into this morning is a good news session. So if you are a guitar practitioner, this is indeed for you. Good morning, Robbie. Good morning, Notorious. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Fresh Memes. That's cool. Yeah, maybe we get rid of that one. All right, so here we go. 1 E and a 2, fingers 2 and 3 on frets 10 and 12. And we're well on our way here this morning. We are well on our way, and we are going for the gold. And what I was just getting ready to say, Mr. Fish, hey, welcome back. Nice to see you. We have a blues. We have a Pentatonic Palace coming, I think, your way too. And I think most of them, I think I had a couple messages repeat, but it's good to see everybody this morning. So welcome, and I hope you have your guitar in hand. And ready to roll into the guitar day today. This live chat is specifically for guitar practitioners who are interested in specifically talking about this particular morning ritual for guitar growth episode, and specifically warming up, issues around warming up. So if you have those questions you'd like to address, this is specifically for you, and it's free for the entire year of 2025. If you're here, you know what's going on. If you've been around, you know what's happening. So fingers 1 and 2 on 10 and 12. 1 and 2, here we go. Yeah, very cool. So we have a core posse. We have a core group that's kind of been here from the beginning of time. And we'll be here until the end of time. I was thinking about this yesterday, and then yesterday I set an intention, a personal intention, that I wanted to observe the life and the works yesterday of Saint Mother Teresa, and how of Calcutta, and how her life work influenced and helped so many. And at the end of her life, her journals were collected and read. Yeah, good morning, Robin. And then she admitted that she felt like God had abandoned her, part of her life, part of her servitude. And she never, I guess she never told anybody this. She never shared this with anybody. So she felt abandoned and left alone to serve in the poor communities of the world, the poorest of communities in the world. And felt abandoned by her father, if you will. But she still decided to serve because of her faith and the way she had conditioned herself to just push through the thing. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday. A question came up. Do you ever feel, in this live chat, a question came up yesterday. So I really wanted to talk about devotion. And John Coltrane has a wonderful record that's not repeatable, although others do try to repeat it. It's a prayer. It's called a love supreme. If you have not yet listened to it, it can be a little challenging to digest or absorb, but if you have not yet heard John Coltrane's A Love Supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme. It's a really interesting record with some remarkable players at the top of their games, they're top of their spiritual and emotional musical games in their lives. And we're talking about devotion and getting here in the morning, just getting to the guitar. I know that if I stay inside, I'm going to just do this all day. I need to practice. So 1 E and 2, fingers 2 and 4 on 9 and 12. That's right. But I could get stuck working so hard all the time that I forget to rejuvenate and rest and refreshment. I'm one of those who is sort of like unhealthfully competitive, I think. So it's a little easier for me most days to just get with a guitar, but I do have days like everyone else where it's a real challenge to get with the guitar. And we all know that as soon as I get with the guitar, I want to just play the guitar. It's so easy to just walk by it. So I have guitars out. I have guitars laying around everywhere, to the extent that it's not a nuisance or a trip hazard, and we're not getting dinged by insurances. But it is, they are handy, 1 E and 2, D E and 4. So I've gone ahead for this year, for 2025 at least, because this is a fairly important year for me personally, and some of you know why. And my plan is to be here every weekday morning at least with you, Mr. Guitar, or Guitar Tweety, and just play through a morning ritual which constitutes guitar growing every day. It's a little bit every day. Today, for example, we've been adding. The growth can seem slow sometimes, but once we sit down with the guitar and we get that seat time going, then we're off to the races, right? We may as well be driving a horse in a Jarvie and just racing around the Gap at Dunlow, if you will. Fingers 1 and 2 or 1 and 4 on frets 7 and 12. So 1 E and 2, you know what to do. And it helps sometimes to just sort of like try to feel it in your body. And that helps to bring a little life into the party, into the experience. But if you do have questions about what's going on, you don't hesitate to ask. But I'm here every weekday, so I've made this commitment or devotional to my my year of 2025 with the guitar, to be here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. for an Eastern time, for an hour. And that is really helpful. It's beneficial to me. So as we go, we're adding a little bit more on, we're tacking just a little bit more on every time. Sometimes we're talking about straight eights where it's that square wave. Sometimes we're talking about swing eights where it's a different kind of rhythmic pattern, horsetail swinging, it's WC handy, So let's take a look at fingers. We've gone through all of the permutations of 2 finger groups. Now what we're going to do is we've used these two, rock and roll forever. And then what we're doing is jumping into the 2, 3, and 4, and then 1, 2, and 3. So I like to start with the challenging stuff first, get that stuff out of the way, So everything else after that seems really like super easy. So 1 E and a 2, and we don't always have to do the stretches. We could just keep the fingers on contiguous frets, you know. We could just make it super easy, super approachable for ourselves. Super fun, super joyful. But even if I don't really want to be here, I find if I put a little smile on my face like in the morning, and I say to myself, I get to play guitar today, I'm awake, I'm healthy enough to sit with the guitar or somehow be with the guitar and play the guitar. This is really a privilege beyond all privileges. So I definitely don't want to, I don't want to seem hokey by celebrating that, but I don't want to overlook that, because one day, just I'm right in the middle of the moment. That's the whole trick to this whole sequence, is to remaining in the moment. And even though we don't feel like it sometimes, or we feel like we've been abandoned by the big guy upstairs, we know through faith that it's going to continue to challenge us, and it's going to continue to drive us to learn more. So we're in a position constantly to sort of be praying for wisdom, I think, praying to receive that wisdom, and praying to sort of like interpret or translate that wisdom into something that we can use on the guitar to better ourselves, better the lives of the people around us, and then just become better guitar practitioners in general. I used to hear people tell me it's not about how well you can play your instrument, it's how well you have trained yourself to be a good person, you know. And I used to think, well, that has nothing to do with playing the guitar. And maybe it doesn't, but I believe now that the two dovetail nicely. So if you're into joinery, it can be as simple a joinery, it can be rabbit or dado, or it can be sort of a Japanese sort of relationship with the joinery. So it can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. And I tend to choose the road of simple complexity, right? I don't know about you, but I've been really enjoying recording audio recordings that are super simple, that don't have a whole lot of layers. And this is why I think the rock and roll band is coming back. You know, the two, or not the two necessarily like Jack White, but 3 and 4 piece, maybe quintuplets, but quintets. Maybe those bands are coming back where you're all playing your parts and filling the rounding out the edges, so to speak. I think those days where we get together as a collective and we rehearse, and we just rehearse for months, and we just dial in our band's sound. Our sound is really important, and I'm seeing, like, I guess I got stuck here on some of these. I got left behind on the chat. It just stopped for me for some reason. Morning. All right, it's a great day. We've got good morning. I can't say your name, but good morning with a coffee cup there. That's cool. Metal Masters. All right, good. Metal Masters, good morning. Sky, good morning. All right, we got Sky. Now I got you, Jason. I can see you, and good. You have the audio. Sky. Good. Marco, what's going on? I hate it when that happens. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, bro. Good morning, Sing. Julian, good morning. So, dude, you got to teach me a guitar lesson. Oh, hey, Julian, what's going on? Good morning. Sky, I'm missing some of these things. I have to apologize if I'm missing what you're saying a little bit. So here's what's going on. So we've got to keep the live chat specifically focused toward guitar, morning ritual guitar, more specifically toward this exact morning ritual. So the questions that come up, the comments that come up need to be related directly to, I have to be direct here so that we know expectations, so we can meet each other's expectations. This is about, this live chat, this whole experience is about, well, it's really about, I say it's mine, but it's not really all about me, is it? It's about our collective personal growth, and focusing only on the metaphor of morning ritual for guitar growth. That includes personal, spiritual, emotional, guitar, all of it's wrapped up into one thing. And we're just going to keep the live chat totally focused on guitar warm-up questions, guitar warm-up comments, guitar warm-up observations. We need to keep this focused, otherwise we're going to start moderating the crap out of it. And no harm, no foul. But we do have a moderator here who's willing and capable and able and does do that. And so we're just we got to keep it tight, but fun and joyful. So if we can handle that, we can keep the live chat going. And so stick around with me. So 1 E and 2. T, E, and we're actually at fingers 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4. We'll go ahead and do that on 10, 11, and 12. And so that little bit of housekeeping aside, it's wonderful to see everybody, and it's so just this channel will improve what you learn elsewhere. Oh, good. Yeah, it is good. It really is a good thing to warm up with a guitar. So many of us have it's like I have never seen anyone really glorify the warm up, and these are the things that really build the player, and this is the mystery that has been missing. I think this is it's the missing link. So you can, build yourself up to whatever standard you prefer, but as we grow, we still feel like that sort of same neophyte that we always felt like as we began. So just keep an eye out. At the end of this year, the whole part of this program is to take a snapshot, which we do. I'm recording all of these. I just want to take a picture of where I was at on the very first morning ritual for guitar growth here at Jason Carey Guitar on YouTube. And then I wanted to take a look at the very last morning ritual for guitar growth here on YouTube from 2025. So 1 year later, we're going to look at December 31st, we're going to look at that lesson, that morning ritual for guitar growth. And then we're going to compare it to the very first one that we did, and we're going to see how much growth has occurred in 260 hours, 5 days a week. So every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for 1 hour for an entire year. So I've never really seen anyone glorify the benefits of warming up on the guitar, and that's exactly what is going on here, right? 1 E and 2, T, E and 4. Go 10, 11, and 12, and we're just jumping. So if you do decide that you wanted to try a personal guitar, online guitar session with me, you could actually email me anytime, and it'll get through to the system that will sort of start that process. My email is, you can email me at grow@jasoncareyguitar.com, GROW. And I think I may have been saying the email incorrectly for a month or so. So it is actually grow@Jason Carey Guitar. The other one is Jason@Jason Carey Guitar, but it's a catch-all, so you can type in whatever you want. But just if you feel like you wanted to just get a kickstart, you had a couple of questions you wanted to straighten out, we can schedule a 45 and get a lot of that stuff sort of smoothed out. Because really only what we're talking about here is warming up and a bunch of that sort of anecdotal things that associate with it. Oh, warm water's great. Yeah, warm water works wonders. All right, so we're getting there. We're starting to tighten up the show here. So we've got 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 4, and then we're going to do mode number 2, fingers 1, 3, and 4. 1, 2, so 1, 2, and 4. Here we go. 9, 10, and 12. And this is about, it's like if you were an Olympic athlete, you were training as a youngster, and you're training as a youngster, and this is specific to that cramp that Sky's talking about, and Robbie's talking about, and Mark's talking about, and these are things that you learn to, if it's only muscular tissue, you can work through that, right, and oxygenate it, breathe correctly, hydrate correctly. So it's really important to drink plenty of water and good quality, good pH balanced water. And if you're going to compete at an Olympic level, you kind of have that mindset, even as a warm-up, you have that mindset to push a little bit further than we're capable of, and that's where the growth happens. So those new blood vessels, for example, a marathon runner doesn't grow those new blood vessels for oxygenation just by sitting around at the computer every day, you know what I mean? Or going the typical 3-mile route, we've got to push to 5, 7, 9, 11, and then we've got to push up to, we've got to make those growth periods happen, and then there might be a little physical pain. If it's arthritis pain, that might be a little different story, but if it's just muscular tissue, we can deal with that. We can stretch that out, we can roll it out, we can warm it up with some water, we can Epsom salt, soak it. We can do all of those things to really benefit our guitar playing and stay moving forward in a good, positive, healthy direction. So 1, 2, 3, fingers 1 and 3 and 4. We're doing straight 8, straight 16s here. 4 attacks per beat, 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what to do. Go. That's right. Yeah, I do a little of that work on the side. Oh, the pinky really does. The Marco, we were talking about that yesterday. Like the pinky, to get that sucker working, to get that pinky part of the team, to absorb that pinky as part of the team, where you would literally clip that pinky on a rope and put your life in his hands. That can be a little bit of, there's a little classroom, a little schoolhouse first, and a little bit of learning in the safe zones, and then we can start taking him out into the field to put some practice on. But that's exactly what this is, right? That's exactly what this whole morning ritual for guitar growth is. It's about the glorification of the devotion of what it takes and the obsession, staying obsessed and being here and ready to I think about it as just being ready. It's creating a situation of readiness and learning. So it's got to be fairly well lighted space, and a metronome's got to be going. You've got to have a guitar that's tuned up, so you've got your tuning fork handy all the time. And every once in a while, because I'm still in the mode of learning what A440 sounds like, I'll pick up my tuning fork and just listen to it in my teeth, and go like, and that way it vibrates my whole cranium. Every 15 minutes I like to pick that up and sing that A, and just double check the guitar to see if we're slip sliding away out of tune, and we're still what we call close enough for jazz. right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at fingers 1 and 3 and 4 on 9, 11, and 12. 1, 2, here we go. See some new faces? Are we looking at, is it a Dottie? Dottie Hottie, good morning. Bro. Hey Dottie, what's going on? Top of the fingers stay level, tough to do. It is a tough one. Hey, that clicking noise is a, there you go. Kevin's got this one. Good. This is specifically designed to be a morning ritual for guitar growth, and sometimes it does get exciting around here. It does get exciting, I gotta admit. And one of the things that makes this so exciting, right, is the ability to breathe, right? We can breathe here, in and out. Imagine how exciting this is. This guy, have a super day. Have a super day, man. Travel well. Thanks for being here. Yeah, just simple little things. If you stick around today, if you plan on sticking around, we are going to add some more new stuff, so it's going to be a little bit tight. We've got to keep this show on the road. But we're using fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 now, and 9, 10, 11, and 12. Go. Yeah, we're just going to keep the show on the road. We've got a lot to do. I mean, we're burning the year down. We're burning through the year. We've got 2025 sort of well beyond underway. And today we're adding some symmetrical patterns to warm up with. These are going to be slow going, but they're super easy, super simple, and they're super movable. This one in particular, we're only adding one 6-string pattern, and you'll want to definitely stick around for it. You definitely want to stick around for it because it's going to be a nice little segue tool. You know, it gives you that ability to shift in and out and back into, if you choose, tonalities. So for example, we've been working on pentatonic, so a little bit the pentatonic sled that sort of like slips us, slides us up and around the fretboard. We've been also working on, we've been working through C major scale, we've been working on minor scales, we've been working on minor pentatonic, the pentatonic palace, we've been working on arpeggios, full-blown 6-string arpeggios. We've come a long way from the place from whence we came, right? And we have a long way yet to go. So we're going to start talking about strategies for what happens when we have too much stuff to practice in one sitting. Yeah, that's going to become a reality. That's going to become a reality if it hasn't already. All right, let's go ahead and do fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and stretch 4 up to 11. So 9, 10, 11, and 13. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, E and a, and E and a, and E and a, and E and a. It doesn't matter what beat we're on, as long as we can count it. Or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. It'd be probably preferable to count groupings of 2s or groupings of 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Good idea to know how to count little packets of 2. Those are supremely helpful in our lives, in the lives of the advancing guitar practitioner. Am I a beginner? Yeah, pretty much. I always consider myself a beginner in whatever field, and just kind of keeps my standards in check and my reality in check. Thanks for stopping in, Dottie. That's good to see you. If you decide to come back with a guitar in hand, that's you are absolutely more than welcome to join. This is free for the entire year of 2025, and I feel like there's a lot here to unpack. There's a lot here to absorb and a lot here to learn. So do what you will. So 1 E and 2 fingers, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Frets 8, 10, 11, and 12 with that first finger stretched back for the kickstand. So let's get this going. 1 E and a 2, E and a 4 E and a. Just super dynamic. This exercise is feeling especially good this morning. What's very cool is feeling like we don't really need to say a whole lot, because we're likely, hopefully, here playing the guitar, and when we do have a question, the live chat is here for that reason. But after we get through all of these, preliminary sort of like very basic rudimental sort of approaches, we're going to go through the diagonal pattern. We'll blast through that. We'll go through the pentatonic palace. We'll go through that, and we'll go through the arpeggio, the C major arpeggios, the C major, the minor, and the diminished arpeggios. I wanted to share with you a new approach to that today. So this will incorporate some modal interchange. So I don't know what we all know about modal interchange, but we're going to use this to our advantage to create some really great, wonderful new sounds that we otherwise wouldn't have had access to. Good. All right. So here we go with our first stretch. A little bit over. We're a little late, and all right, if I have someone here, it's a 44th wedding anniversary. Need to get a bouquet faced up and on the table before I leave for work. Dude, congratulations. 44 that's a wonderful accomplishment. What a beautiful thing to share. What a beautiful thing to celebrate too. Big deal right here. That's big news. I guess that news is that's okay. That's welcome to share. That's remarkable. And he's getting ready to move along. All right, we'll get the next one started in your along with your celebration. Yeah, isn't it funny how this all works? Those things are worth celebrating. Even the little things, but that's a huge thing to celebrate, just a wonderful thing. How's your posture going? We're doing a posture check, just sort of breathing a little bit. 44 and so much more. Happy picking, friend. So onesie and twosie, we're going to do these diagonal patterns, and we're saying sayonara. Have a wonderful happy anniversary to Mark and his lady and of the house. And why don't we go ahead and get started on this diagonal pattern? 1C and 2C. Put namashu C's. That's right. Guitar does sound different in here. This room is more sort of like carefully treated to not reflect as much noise. So we're trying to mitigate ambient reflection in a room like this. Whereas that live room we were in yesterday was just so pleasant to play the guitar, and that was a day-long event, that for sure. Let's go ahead and zip right through these minor pentatonic shapes. This pentatonic palace is really going somewhere. But the first thing that we need to do is to really get these positions, these patterns up to speed. Change feels just by changing the count. So these things are just super important to just spend some time with, get to know, and don't be afraid to just start regrouping our counting too. Subdivisions of 2s and 3s are totally appropriate. Next shape, major pentatonic. I'm using these 16th note or 6 attacks per beat, but you can use 1 attack per beat. Just go slow if you want and just take it easy, but be sure to breathe and keep your posture good, and your tonal production is good. We need good quality tonal production. It is the most important thing. Only go as fast as you feel comfortable. If you feel like you're not quite in control, but we still practice at that tempo anyway, we're going to learn we're basically going to iron a wrinkle into the shirt, and that iron wrinkle into the shirt is a little harder to iron out. If you've ever done that, I don't know if you've done that, but it's definitely a thing. So good morning, how you doing, Mr. Khan? Good morning. And let's go ahead and just take a look at the next pentatonic shape number 3 in the grand scheme of the plan. Let's go ahead and try for these little slurs here. So those are going to be a lot of fun, a tremendous amount of fun. Let's see what we can do in the next pattern. So the next pattern is pattern 4. lot of different kinds of things, right? So the next shape is fifth shape. Just really simple things, simple ideas I wanted to share just to kind of keep things fresh, right? So we've gotten through all of the pentatonic stuff. Now we're going through the 6-string major, minor, and diminished arpeggios. They're diatonic to the key of C. So we'll start on C. I'm just showing you these patterns so you can come back later on, 47 minutes in, and watch this all in slow motion if you want to take some notes. And then E minor, and then E minor. It's a little challenging to get those notes as we join, as the neck, sort of like the fretboard meets the body. It gets a little crunchy up there for space. I wanted to just give you this idea. If you're a fingerstyle guitar player, you're sort of into Matteo Mancuso or stuff like that, you wanted to have like this really cool regiment on your electric guitar, but it also works on your acoustic guitar. I've got my ginger tea, my straight ginger root tea this morning going, and so I'm just basically working through. We've already done this exercise, but we'll pluck one note, hammer on, and then roll up to. Have a super day, Kevin. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Jason. Have a great day. Yes, absolutely, man. You travel well, and we'll see you soon. Okay. This is where it takes a turn. So we're borrowing from the flat 6 to the flat 7 to the 1. So we also could do these really cool modal interchanges here where we have, so where we go to the 4 chord, so we have, let's take a look. And then we hear the kind of sort of the 1, up to the 4 chord, back to the 1, and we're just outlining that with arpeggiated changes, right? And then we can move from that. What's really cool is if we move from that it's called a parallel major, parallel minor shift. So it works really great on an electric guitar where you have all kinds of reach and all kinds of that stuff going on. But here's what I wanted to add, which is new today. So we wanted to start with the C, just the C augmented triad. All right, so let's go ahead and look at two different versions of this, two different variations. So we have the C, E, and G sharp, which constitutes. We haven't really worked on. We've done all of these major, minor, and diminished triads. All of that stuff on the guitar. But then we haven't really talked about symmetrical patterns yet. So we have the C, E, and G, which is just whole steps, two whole steps stacked on top of underneath two other whole steps. So we have C, E, G sharp, and then we're going to go up a whole step from the top note to grab the flat. So it's C, 1, 3, sharp 5, flat 7, 9, and then 1, 3, sharp 5, flat 7, 9, and sharp 11. Okay? Then and then that shape kind of repeats itself every 2 frets. So it's super important shape to know on the guitar, because this really gets us in and out of all of those tricky harmonic places that we'd like to be exploring, right? So let's say we're playing major scale. Maybe I want to just kind of sneak away from that for a minute. We can use these patterns to get into and out of those major shapes. It's very simple. It's a parallel movement. So C, E, G sharp, B flat, D, G flat, and then move that same shape up a whole step. And we can't really get around that. There's no substitution for just playing these things. So we'll just do another one, another variation of this on, instead of root 5, we'll use a root 6 variation of it. So we have C, E, G sharp, and then we have C, E, G sharp. So we could do this really cool really great sort of like 6-string approach whereby we approach the 1, 3, sharp 5, 1, 3, sharp 5. But now we've got to work on finger transitions from one position to the next. And then, so what am I working? How do I get from here to here? Then I use just finger 1 to cross over. So we can do that. We can definitely do that. So those are things that I really like to start working on incorporating. But let's see if there's another variation of this with the 1, 3, sharp 5, and then the 1, 3, 1, the flat 7, the 9, and then the flat 5, or 1, 3, sharp 5, 1, 3, flat 5, and then can we do one more in this position? We can. Wow, this is good. This is good news. Sounds like some dark metal. Absolutely. Great progression, bro. Let's take a look at this one, Jay and Priest Nathan. Good morning. Good morning, gang. So I'm just getting ready to wrap it up. So I do a morning ritual every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which is free for the entire year of 2025. And I do that here with an acoustic for most of the time. And but today I wanted to start just introducing to the gang symmetrical patterns, and then so I'm using basically the augmented triad, but then as I get to the top of the triad, we go up a whole step to the root 3 sharp 5 again, up a whole step to the root 3, instead of 5 we go sharp 5, and that's up and down, right? So we've got to have all of those pieces going. Right, so up and down, and these are things that we learn and then incorporate, fold into our morning rituals for guitar growth. So that's really what we're doing. Are you metal players or what? You must be metal players, I would think. So this works great for metal, blues, jazz, pop. You can sneak it into pop, you can sneak it into country, but you have to be sort of like really, really sneaky about it. And otherwise you might alienate an audience, you know. But it's the good stuff for sure. All right. I guess I'm just going to play around a little bit before I get ready to go. I'm going to sign off at 8:30. So let me get a little sort of like acoustic metal pattern going here. Just a boom chick sort of combining a little bit of that bluegrass element with the some metal style power chords, sort of like still tripping on that Aussie thing, you know. Just simple flat 6, flat 7. Incorporating those sort of like 6-string arpeggios, you know, the diatonic, triadic arpeggios that we've been incorporating. Just for the purposes of exercise and warming up. So we have this beautiful pattern. That stuff that we can build on. We can lay that down as a foundation, and then we have the F. We know that we have that F chord and that G power chord, G5 power chord, and then we have the A minor power chord. We could call it a power chord, but we all know that it's that A minor shape. We could practice it in 5s. In 6s, groupings of 4s, so having some fun and just goofing off, but I really appreciate you being here and hanging out today. And let's see what's going on here. Okay. All right, we'll just go ahead and keep that where it was. All right, thanks again for being here today. I'm Jason, and I'm your host for Jason Carey Guitar. And thank you for playing along. We wanted to thank you very much for playing along with us today during the morning ritual for guitar growth. And we'll see you again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Time. So go ahead, bring your guitar, join us. And until we meet again, I wish you